Man, here, fellas, and I thought I was going to have to talk to you about some, like, rookie minicamp stuff, some, roster moves as the Lions expand up to a 90-man roster heading into the training camp and OTAs and that kind of stuff. I thought it was going to be a little bit more laid back, a little bit more grime and gritty type of a video. And then, just earlier this afternoon, at the time of recording this, it is 12:18 in the morning, Tuesday, so technically Monday afternoon. The Detroit Lions did something that we and this channel have been coveting and just hoping to have happen all season long, and that's right, boys, that's right. Jared Goff, 4-year extension with the Detroit Lions. Nice little salary. He becomes the highest paid Lion in Detroit Lions franchise history, and I, for one, think he's entirely deserved of it, at least so. Man, we're going to talk about Jared Goff and his extension here. This is the Hat and Beard Show. I'm Hat and Beard, man. This is we're going to say the quiet part out loud. This is going to be hopefully a short video. Grab yourself a cold one, get a little baby beer. It's going to be a short video. Let's get into it, fellas. Yeah. Let's go.
We're going to get up, and on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
All right, guys, here coming to you from one of our favorite sources. We love going to the Pride of Detroit, prideofdetroit.com. Detroit Lions signing Jared Goff to massive extension. The Detroit Lions are signing Jared Goff to an extension worth over $50 million a year. Whoo! That is some cash, boys. That is some cash. Let's go ahead and read on. Make sure you got your cold drink going here with you boys. Here we go. All right, Jared Goff. There's our boy, JG16, the savior of the Detroit Lions. Not the savior of the Detroit Lions, but you guys know how hype I am about just the whole story, the whole culmination of everything of Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and Jared Goff's just like resilience in the face of the media, just crapping on him all the time. And what a place to just restore his career at in Detroit, where we're just grime and gritty, dude. Like, woo-wee, boys, here we go. After signing foundational players like Penei Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown to massive extensions, the Detroit Lions have linked a key third piece of their franchise. According to Adam Schefter, the Lions are signing Jared Goff to a 4-year, $212 million extension with a whopping $170 million in guaranteed Benjamins, guaranteed cash, guaranteed cold hard U.S. currency, until obviously the dollar just completely deflates because it's a fiat currency and it's not backed up by anything. So, I mean, yes, he's a rich man with monopoly money, essentially. But hey, that's neither here nor there. We're not here to talk about that right now. We're here to talk about Jared Goff. Oh, boys. Look, I know a lot of you might not be the biggest JG16 fans, and that's okay. It's totally all right. But you're wrong.
Free yourself from millions of books and pictures. Ask yourself, what am I trying to do?
Okay, Goff's the man. And he's got the numbers to back it up, right? Like, look, I know it didn't start off great for Jared Goff, but he eventually turned it around, okay? So, let's keep reading. The news comes as little surprise given how committed the team has been to Goff since they traded for him in 2021 as part of the Matthew Stafford trade to the Rams that also netted Detroit a haul of draft picks. Yes, we Hi, man. Got him. Where was I?
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, it's jam.
Hey, don't be a jive turkey. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Or don't.
I'm no punk bitch. I ain't no punk bitch neither. I'm no punk bitch.
Now, back to G.I. Joe.
Sorry about that. There was a bug flying around, and I could hear it hitting the ceiling, and it was driving me nuts. Garage studio in the summer. Let's go. The news comes as little surprise given how committed the team has been to Goff since they traded for him in 2021 as part of the Matt Stafford trade for all the picks. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, Matt Stafford. Good for Matt Stafford and his big, goofy white teeth. Through Goff's Detroit career got off to a rough start. The team slowly built up their roster from the ground up. The Lions quarterback displayed incredible perseverance. Man, I am not a good reader. Incredible perseverance since week 9 of the 2023 season, right? That's when he really kind of started to turn it on, and we started to get the Goff-fence rolling, right? Goff put up statistics, and this right here. This is the statistics is what I really like. Since week 9 of the 2023 season. Okay, check this out. 8th in the league in completion percentage, right? Jared Goff, not necessarily the deepest thrower, right? Doesn't have the biggest arm, but he's 66.8% completion percentage. That's pretty good, considering J-Mo hasn't really evolved into what he's supposed to be. Yes, Sam Laporta, last year, rookie sensation, but that's only 1 year that Goff has been here. So essentially, he compiled all these numbers. That completion percentage thrown to who? A 4th-round draft pick, Amon-Ra St. Brown? Right? Exactly. It's all just a harmonious culmination of gritty, dejected players. 7,100 yards. Second in the league in yardage since week 9, since he turned it around, right? Since 7,100 yards. That's now, yes, the league is a pass-happy league that hates defense and loves points. But still, it's pretty awesome. 7.5 yards per attempt. That's good for 5th, right? 47 touchdowns. 47 touchdowns. Good for 3rd in the league. 7,100 yards, completing nearly 70% of his passes for 47 touchdowns, and only thrown 13 INTs, right? With a 100 passer rating out of, 132, right? Something like that. Rating, QBR of 100, bringing him up to be the 4th quarterback in the league. Those are pretty impressive numbers for a washed-up bridge QB who was supposed to just fizzle out the remainder of his career here in Detroit, and the Rams were offloading this horrible albatross of a contract, right, that they were willing to give up 2 first-round picks just to get him out of town, right? I mean, the production's there. Nobody knows about it because until last year we were just flying under the radar, right? We were Detroit. We were just the laughing stock where teams go to die, where players go to die because Dan Campbell is crazy and biting off kneecaps and all that stuff, right? Over that time, Goff's gone 20-7 in the regular season, and then, of course, we got the 2 postseasons win this year with an NFC Championship playoff berth, which had a couple of things gone a different way for us. We definitely would have been not only playing in the Super Bowl, but beating the Kansas City Chiefs for the 2nd time this season, both to open the season and then to close the season. And Detroit would be parading the Lombardi Trophy right down the middle of the midway, right along where they had the draft, and then we would have the draft the following. Like, it would have just been beautiful, man. It would have just been beautiful. Just music, just absolute, just like synchronicity of everything culminating together in the restoring of the pride of Detroit. Maybe you would even see potentially, wouldn't it be awesome if the Lions' success eventually developed into a catalyst that pushed the city of Detroit back to its golden age in the 1940s when it was one of the richest cities in the world, dubbed Paris of the Midwest, a beautiful, beautiful city until certain things destroyed it. Anyway, I've always believed in Jared. Lions general manager Brad Holmes said in February, "You guys have always heard me. I don't know what more needs to be said from the leadership of the performance at that standpoint." Brad Holmes is a Jared Goff fan, dude. Who do you think scouted Jared Goff, dude? Brad Holmes spent his entire career in the Rams franchise, family. You know what I'm saying? Like, up until he came to Detroit, he had always worked for the Rams. You know what I'm saying? He knew exactly who Jared Goff was. He wasn't willing to sell out Jared Goff. He wasn't willing to get off that Jared Goff train. He stayed with Jared Goff. He was riding with Goff, dude. And now look at Jared Goff, the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL on a per annual salary basis behind Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow has no offensive line to keep him healthy, whereas Jared Goff has the best offensive line in football to protect his investment. You just paid Penei Sewell, right? It's just awesome to have. He's got all the weapons around him. You know what I'm saying? It's just an absolute perfect hand in glove fit. You know what I'm saying? Goff in particular has been praised for his resiliency. There are not many NFL quarterbacks who are unceremoniously traded away in a package deal. Yeah, I talked about that already, and ended up pulling themselves to play at a high level. If you're an outsider, do you really understand how resilient he is? This is the quote I love right here. If you are an outsider, do you really understand how resilient he is? That's a Dan Campbell quote about Jared Goff in January, right? If you guys been paying attention to Goff, yeah, sometimes he Goffs it up. That first year, man, was brutal. I screamed about it nonstop. Every time Jared Goff, he would seemingly, for some reason, decide to roll out to his blind side, and he'd always get sacked or throw a pick. But I will give Jared Goff, since day one in being Detroit, I will give Jared Goff this one huge compliment. My guy has always had just an incredibly short memory. And quarterbacks are supposed to have short memories to begin with. But JG16, this cat can really just like erase the bad decision that happened on the last play, the last series, whatever happened. He just deletes it and he just moves forward. My guy is mentally strong. And that's what I love about Dan Campbell. If you're an outsider, meaning that's a little jab at the mainstream media, at the big NFL Network, the ESPN, anybody outside of the Detroit Lions know, right? Nobody gave us any respect for years. They still really don't, right? Some chucklehead at ESPN not too long ago was talking about how the window had already closed on the Detroit Lions to win the Super Bowl. How we had the window last year to win the Super Bowl, and now the window's closed. My guy, how was that the window? How is the window no longer open when it wasn't open to begin with, when nobody projected us to be that good? How can you have it both ways? Oh, that's right. Nobody gives a flying fuck about Detroit. Nobody ever paid attention to us. We got on Hard Knocks, and rah, Dan Campbell, there he is, dropping quotable lines, man, you know, one ass cheek and three toes, man, you know, all that stuff. We were still kind of a laughing stock, but people started to buy in a little bit, but it still wasn't a sold deal. Even last year, we made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. We went to San Francisco, and we pushed them all the way into the second half of the game. Had certain things not gone a certain way, had we produced blah, 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 ifs and buts, candies and nuts. My grandma had been born with wheels. She'd have been a wagon. We're neither here nor there. We should be getting a lot more respect from the national media circus, right? And the fact that Dan Campbell still has to, if you're an outsider, do you really understand? Because nope, they don't. Nobody really does. Except for you, except for me, except for everybody that be paying attention around here to the Detroit Lions. We know how good Goff is, which is why most of us shouldn't bat an eye at the Jared Goff extension. He's worth all of the money, okay? He's worth it because he's proven it. He had runway, right? He could have phoned it in last season, continued to, we're still rebuilding, we're still working, I don't have the talent around me, blah, blah, blah. I still have one more year under contract, right? We weren't too worried about re-signing Goff this year because he was still under contract for the duration of this year. It was a $27 million, something like that. Well, now it's like $53 million a year. So congratulations, JG16. You earned every penny of it. Now, on the flip side of all this, I will say that the NFL is like good on Goff for getting that money, but when they increase the salary cap, you have to look at your fan base, you have to look at the economics of everything, and you have to acknowledge, NFL, that with the hyperinflation that the U.S. taxpayer is dealing with right now, it is almost insulting to us to realize that you're borderline maliciously pricing us out of the sport that we love to watch and consume in favor of tailoring your game and catering to the coastal elites, the Hollywood types, the Taylor Swifts, the big money donors, the people who have the money because you've priced us out plus inflation. Top down, middle out, right? What was it? Yeah, no, bottom up, middle out or something like that. Whatever their plan was. Yep, they've completely dissolved the middle class and the purchasing power of the middle class, who was a major component in supporting the NFL as far as purchasing your product and going to attend your product, can no longer sustain it in this hyperinflated economy that we're dealing with right now. So good on Goff for getting that money. Good on those of you who can attend the games, who bought the season tickets. Congratulations, Lions. Sold out season tickets for the second year in a row. That's awesome. But to the everyman, it's just now starting to become more and more of an unattainable reality for us to be able to attend the game and watch it in person and have a good time without, either going foolishly into significant credit card debt or just, blowing an entire budget. But, hey, if you want to have a good time, Michigan Panthers tickets are like $30, and the UFL is actually a lot of fun to watch. I strongly recommend it. I have a good time every weekend watching a couple of the games. And, hey, man, the Panthers ain't half bad. They're probably not going to win the whole thing, but they'll win. They'll probably I think they locked their spot for the playoff because they needed to win and the Brahmas needed to win for them to lock their playoff spot. So I'm pretty sure the Michigan Panthers made the UFL playoff. So, hey, good on them. Good on you. Good on JG16 getting his bag. Good on the Lions extending the franchise quarterback who has helped you, who has been more or less the captain on the field, riding the ship through 3 years of hellfire and making himself a success, rebuilding himself along with the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, and the city of Detroit, Jared Goff. Detroit loves you, bro. Man, I am so hyped that we re-signed you and you're able to stay under contract for a little bit longer and continue to piss excellence for us. All right, have I stand enough for Jared Goff already? Have I gone ahead and just like totally just praised him enough? So, all right, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Let me know down in the comments if you like this a little bit shorter of a video. Maybe we'll do it more frequently. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out a more uploadish schedule for the off season because, fellas, it is boring out here during the off season, and you know this, I know this, and let's be honest, baseball is so fucking boring. Ugh. That's going to do it for me. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Keep your stick on the ice. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. If she doesn't find you handsome, at least she'll find you handy. Stay out of trouble. Frig off.